Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be demoing a project, one of my favorite projects, one of the projects I see a lot of the students making. It's one that I thought of a while ago. It's Octopus Key holder. So here's one that's already made, and we're going to go through the steps of what you need to make it. First of all, let's talk about materials. I have a slab that I rolled out. I used a rolling pin and a couple of yardsticks. You could also use the slab roller. The slab roller should be operational by the time we come back from break. I've got a couple ribs. One's a little bit stiffer, one's a little bit softer. I have a hole punch to make my holes eventually that I'm going to need to put so it can hang on the wall. Some slip, some extra clay so I can build my legs and my body, and a paintbrush so I can adhere the slip and I can adhere the things I'm going to be using. Also, I have a template for today. My template is just a piece of typing paper or copy paper, 4.5 inches by 9.5 inches that I cut in the paper cutter. So I'm going to get this nice and centered on my thing. And actually, I guess I'm gonna need one more tool. I'm gonna need a razor blade. So step one, I'm gonna cut my slab. Looking to the side to make sure that my slab is pretty even, which it is. Now I'm going to use my my rib to compress the slab. Just like compressing the bottom of the bowl, just compressing the slab, so hopefully it won't curve up too much in the kiln. Now I'm just setting this back so I can cut my slab so it'll be nice and even again. As I compress it, it's gonna kind of get a little bit of extra. It's gonna squirt out the sides just barely. But I just want to cut it so it's nice and even again. Another detail I'm going to do right now at this point is I'm going to soften the corners of this razor blade cut edge. So when I do attach it and fire it, one, I don't have to do it later. Two, it just makes it a little bit softer. You don't want hard edges anywhere. You probably leave the corner on the bottom because that's going to attach to the wall. So actually I'm just going to do the top side. Let's set this over to the side. Let's stiffen up a little bit. You can put it in front of the fan if you want. I'm gonna let it slow air dry. Sometimes if you put it in front of the fan and let it dry too quickly, it's gonna wanna bow up on you. That's what I mean by that is it's gonna wanna start to curve. So the slower drying time, the better it seems to stay nice and flat. So now what I need to do is make the legs of my octopus. When I'm making the legs of an octopus, how many legs do we have? We have 8. So I need to make 8 even balls, and then I'm going to make one a little bit bigger ball that I'm going to use to create the head. And if I take this time now and make sure that these are all relatively the same size, I can also be pretty confident when I go to attach my legs that they're all gonna be close to the same. So I have 8 equal pieces, and I think this one right here will do nicely for the shape of the head. If your head seems to be getting too thick, you can always hollow it out, or make sure you give it plenty of drying time if you don't want to hollow it out. This one, I'm going to try to hollow this one out so I can help the drying time. And also I think it'll give me a little bit more space to work with when I make those connections for the when I'm making this head, I want it to be kind of pointy at the top, rounder, and then it gets a little smaller. Octopuses don't have bones, so their heads can be almost any shape, but they tend to, when they're relaxed, to be in a shape kind of like this. Set that little head shape aside. Now I need to make coils. So I'm just gonna, so when I make these coils for the legs, obviously, well not obviously, but I want them to be a certain thickness. I don't want them to get any thinner than about this big around. That's about as thin as I want the edge of my leg. I just want to make sure that they have enough weight so when people put keys on them and stuff, they don't snap off. If I make these legs very, very spindly, then this is going to be a lot weaker joint. Even though when they do hang, because it hangs right there on the curve, it does become pretty strong. I have one of these at home and I've had it for about 2 years and I haven't had any issues with it breaking. The only time I've ever broken them is when I've set stuff on top of them, and that was just in transport. All right, I think this is good. So this is about 10 inches long. It gets about the size of a pencil towards the end and about the size of 2 or 3 pencils as it goes up towards the top. And this is what I want. And this is kind of really similar to what you would see on a real octopus. Their tentacles go from fat to skinny. Not that I'm trying to make a realistic one, but it will be somewhat real. So I'm gonna set this over to the side and I'm gonna continue to make 7 more. Okay, now that I have that finished, I have my body, and I have my 8 octopus legs. I'm gonna make sure, I'm just gonna round out these. These tend to kind of cone up a little and get hollow at the end. So make sure that these ends are nice. Getting all the little boogers and stuff out of here. And then what I do is I cut this at about a 90 or about a 45-degree angle. So it looks something like that. I want plenty of space for that to be able to attach. And then I'm gonna slowly go and attach it to this octopus head that I built. So I can attach them anywhere. I guess I'm gonna make this maybe the head of it. So maybe I'll start right there and just make sure that all 8 of those tentacles are gonna fit. So make sure to score pretty deeply right there into that guy, and do the same here so these connections are nice. Here's a little of my slip. And make that first connection. Also, when you cut it like that, you see that it goes from low to high, and that's kind of mimicking what you would see on a real octopus, that little profile there. Just made that head a little smaller. Just my tentacles were gonna be too far spaced, so. Okay, now that I have that attached, the fun part. So, bring my slab back over here. Get all the boogers and stuff off of it. Now the fun part, I'm gonna place my octopus on my thing here. So I need to be a key holder. So it also has to be functional. I think I'm gonna place it right here sideways. Hopefully you get a good view of kind of what I'm doing here. I'm gonna place him somewhere about like that. I think it looks kind of cool when he comes up and off of it a little bit. And now, almost like a braid, I kind of want to take one from kind of far away, and I'll establish this as my first key holder. Make sure these don't dry up too much. The more kind of curves and bends you add to it, the more realistic it will start to look at this point. And I think I'm gonna use a little bit of a needle tool so I can mark be right back. So what I wanna do is I wanna use my needle tool to mark a couple of the places where that's making a connection. or maybe just right down here so I can score. Add a little slip. We have our first tentacle. Maybe this one will go here. What I think's cool about this project is the overlapping that you can get. That's what makes it look kind of crazy and fun. Attaching the body. We're coming towards a finish here. All right. Now I'm gonna clean up some of these clay boogers here. I'm really happy with this one. I'm gonna slowly let this dry. Then I'm gonna come through and I'm gonna put holes, or I can maybe do the holes right here. I'm gonna let this dry up a little bit better. But I put 4 holes and then I'd make the eyes. The way I make the eyes is I just make a little ball. And if you've ever seen an octopus eye, it does something like that. It has a little split in it. And they have kind of sideways, and they poke out from either side of the head. And I'm gonna make those attachments. So I'll do that right now. Use my razor. Kind of pop it a little. So let me pop out of the head a little bit. There, and there, I like that. I'm gonna mark them with my needle tool, slip and score. Right, I think this is one of my favorite ones I've built of this project. And this is your 8 key ring holder. I built it so it can go on a little corner piece of a sidewall. You can put it anywhere throughout the house. This makes a great gift. People really like them. And I hope you enjoy making yours. Have a great day.